Hi everyone, I'm Bira Delisi, and in this video we're going to talk about the 5 things that you need to know about the Ontario Standard Lease. The Ontario Standard Lease is the only lease that should be signed in the province of Ontario for residential tenancies. You can use other leases, however, the Ontario Standard Lease has all of the legitimate clauses and legal clauses that are required to be included in a residential lease agreement. So any residential tenancy should be included on the Ontario Standard Lease. Here are 5 things that you need to know. Number 1, Form 400 when using a realtor is the stepping stone to make an offer to lease. It actually follows up by the Ontario Standard Lease Agreement. After the Form 400, the offer to lease has been accepted. In fact, what most landlords do is they include Form 400 as an addendum to the Ontario Standard Lease. Number 2, landlords must include an address for service on the Ontario Standard Lease so that if their tenant wants to serve them with a notice or send them post-dated checks perhaps, they have an address to send these documents or these checks to. If a landlord does not include an address for service, it's actually contrary to the Act, because the Act ensures or enforces a landlord's responsibility to provide an address for service. Now, if a landlord does not provide an address for service, then a tenant can legally withhold 1 month's rent until that address for service has been provided. Number 3, insurance is not mandatory. It is an option in the Ontario Standard Lease whether or not the tenant should maintain insurance coverage on the property during the course of their tenancy. However, it's not likely that the Landlord and Tenant Board will issue an eviction if the tenant cancels their insurance policy because they're not able to afford carrying over the monthly costs. Number 4, a copy of the Ontario Standard Lease, once it's executed, must be provided to the tenant upon the tenant's request within 21 days of that request being made. If the tenant does not receive a copy within 21 days, the tenant can legally withhold 1 month's rent. And number 5, the last month's rent is the only deposit that a landlord can request and hold, which should be included on the Ontario Standard Lease. Any other deposit requested by the landlord or obtained by the landlord that is over and above the last month's rent amount is it's an illegal deposit. We hope you found this video informative. If you have any questions, always call us first.